Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to learn about the endocrine glands and their secretions, which are known as the hormones. So let's start what the hormones are. The hormones basically are the chemical substances which are usually produced in very much less quantities or low amounts by the endocrine glands. They are transported through the blood towards the target organs. In this video, I will be telling you about the types of hormones which are produced by the different type of endocrine gland and what their target organs are and how these hormones are going to influence the growth and development of the organism. After their production, whenever the hormone is utilized by the body, leftover is destroyed in the liver and they are excreted by the kidney. So the point here you have to remember is that the hormones, they are produced in less amount, low quantities, minute quantities. They are transported by the blood. They will be destroyed in the liver and will be excreted by the kidney. There are two types of glands, endocrine glands and the exocrine glands. Let's compare these two. The endocrine glands are the ductless glands. They don't have any kind of duct. They are directly secreting their secretions into the bloodstream, such as adrenal gland, pituitary gland, and the pancreas. And that is a diagram of it, that this is the gland cell which will be producing the hormone into the bloodstream, and definitely through the blood that will be reaching towards its target organ. Remember one thing, that the glands which are the endocrine gland and the endocrine hormones, they are having the generalized effects because they are transported through the blood. So wherever their target organ will be, they will be having, they will be showing, they will be expressing their effects. So endocrine glands, they produce the hormones which are having the generalized effect all over the body. They are having most of the target organs are in the body. So in the vast areas, they are having their target cells. So they are producing variety of effects. While the exocrine glands, they are having the ducts. Their secretions are transported through the duct to a localized area, to a particular region, such as sweat gland, salivary gland, and the pancreas. I have mentioned the pancreas in both because that is the endocrine as well as the exocrine gland. So we will be looking at its both functions. So here you people can see the sweat duct is over here. That is the sweat gland which will be producing the sweat, and that is the sweat duct through which the sweat is coming over the skin. So let's compare the exocrine and endocrine function of the pancreas. The pancreas being the exocrine gland that is related with the digestive system, that is going to produce the pancreatic juice, which is drained into the duodenum through the pancreatic duct, while being endocrine gland, which is going to secrete its secretion into the blood, so that is it can have the generalized effect, that is producing two hormones, insulin and glucagon. Both are having opposite effect. Insulin is going to reduce the blood glucose level, while the glucagon is going to increase the blood glucose level, and both are produced by the pancreas. So here you have learned that pancreas is having exocrine function in the digestive system by producing the pancreatic juices, while the endocrine function is with the release of two hormones which are going to regulate the blood glucose concentration. These are the insulin and the glucagon. So coming towards how the production of hormone is controlled, why it should be controlled. Hormone production, it requires a balance, because overproduction or underproduction, that both are having the effects on the body which are not definitely positive. So their production should be balanced. Right amount of the hormone should be produced by the endocrine gland in the body, and their production is usually controlled by the nervous system. But some other endocrine glands, they are controlling the production of the other endocrine gland secretions as well. So I am going to show you people the different endocrine glands. and the secretion produced by those which are included in your syllabus biology 5090. First, the master gland is the pituitary gland. Why that is considered as the master? Because it is going to control the secretion of the other endocrine glands as well. We will be discussing it in the upcoming slides as well. So that is considered the master gland, or iski identification sometime that is important, because how you are going to identify that it is just about the size of a pea, and that is round in shape. So the thing which you are going to see in the brain, just like the pea or the lobed one, that is the pituitary gland. And its secretions are also controlled by the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is just above the pituitary gland. That is the identification mark of the hypothalamus. That pituitary gland is lobed one, and behind that, just above it, is the hypothalamus. Then is the thyroid gland, though that is not in the syllabus, but that is important in relation to the development, physical development or the mental growth of the body. These are the adrenal gland. They are very much important. And particularly adrenal gland, that is having the adrenal cortex and medulla. Particularly the adrenal medulla is responsible for the secretion of the adrenaline. Adrenaline is in our syllabus, so that is very much important. That is a hormone of the fight and flight that is responsible for increasing the blood glucose level, as the glucagon is doing. Then is the pancreas, that is producing insulin and glucagon. And these are the ovaries in the female, which are going to produce the estrogen and progesterone. They are having different effects on the body. We will be discussing these effects in detail in this video. These are the testes which are present in the male, and these are going to produce the male hormone, which is the testosterone. You can have a screenshot of the slide. Okay, now coming towards the pituitary gland, why that is considered the master gland? Because it is going to control the secretion of large number of organs. It is going to release the TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, which is affecting on the thyroid, and that will be controlling its secretion. It is going to secrete the gonadotrophins, which will be acting on the gonads, ovaries, and testes, and that will be controlling the secretion of estrogen and progesterone and the testosterones, and so many other effects. That is going to produce antidiuretic hormone, which will be related with the production of the urine. Okay. Now coming towards the pituitary gland, its secretions are controlled by the hypothalamus. Remember, that is the size of the pea, and that is lobed one. That is the identification point for the pituitary gland. That produces several hormones such as growth hormone, which is going to control the growth of your bones and the muscles. Along with that, the very much important antidiuretic hormone, that is the ADH. It will be controlling the reabsorption of water, and definitely that will be affecting the amount of urine produced. It also affects the thyroid stimulating hormone, which is going to produce the secretion T3, T4 by the thyroid gland. Next is the adrenal gland. Adrenal glands are just located above the kidneys. Okay. And they are above the kidneys. They are going to produce the hormone adrenaline. And adrenaline is having a wide range of effects, which we will be discussing. Now, I just want to tell you people that beta, inside our body, there are many organs such as kidneys, which are having the renal cortex, renal medulla, adrenal gland, that is having adrenal cortex, adrenal medulla. Fine, inside our body, the brain, cerebral cortex, cerebral medulla. So आप लोगों ने whenever you people are going to specify an organ in terms of medulla and cortex, please do mention the organ name first, that which to which organ that medulla or cortex belongs to. Some students do the mistake, they just simply write that this is the cortex medulla, and that if that is being asked for the kidney, so you will not get the marks, because you have to properly write renal cortex, renal medulla, adrenal cortex, adrenal medulla. Okay. So let's see that how the stimulus is over there for the production of adrenaline. What it happens, the stimulus for adrenaline release is the fear, anger, anxiety, stress, whenever you people are in such kind of situations, adrenaline will be released. How that is going to be released? The receptors in the hypothalamus, they will get stimulated. And once they are going to be stimulated, they are going to activate the sensory neurons. And through the sensory neurons, the impulses will be sent towards the spinal cord. And from the spinal cord, the motor neurons, they are going to transmit the impulses towards the adrenal gland, particularly the adrenal medulla. Adrenal gland is located just above the kidneys. Adrenal medulla will be secreting the adrenaline, and that is transported through the blood. That's why that is called adrenal adrenaline is the endocrine hormone. ठीक है जी, because it is secretions are being released into the blood, and through the blood they are being sent towards the different target organ, where the variety of responses are produced depending upon the type of the target organ. Let's have a look of the effects of adrenaline on the different organs. Just see that this is the exact location of adrenal gland above the kidney, and that is considered the hormone for the state of emergency, fight or flight, मरो या मार दो या डर के भाग जाओ. ठीक है जी. Okay, but remember adrenaline that is produced in certain kind of conditions, so ultimately its effects will be short-lived and temporary. So here are the target organs that it is affecting on the heart, where it is going to increase the heartbeat, so there's more glucose and oxygen is going to be supplied to the muscles. The target organ are the breathing center in the brain, where you people are will be feeling the faster and deeper breathing, so that the oxygenation of the blood is getting increased and the carbon dioxide is being removed quickly. Arterioles of the skin and the digestive system, they are going to constrict. वो थोड़ी diameter में reduce हो जाएंगी, because arterioles are having the elastic muscle in them, so they are going to be constricted. So once the arterioles in the skin and digestive system, they are going to be constricted, so ultimately less blood will be flowing towards those regions, and due to which the more blood will be available for the muscles. Because let's see, if I am going to see a dog instantly, I will start running. So in the running, my muscles are involved. My muscle will be needing more energy. So what will happen? The skin and digestive system arterioles will be constricting. The blood which has to go over there, that will be available for the muscle, so that I can get more and more amount of oxygen and glucose, and I can run fast as maximum. And ultimately, in the digestive system, that is going to relax the muscles of the gut, so the peristalsis and digestion will get slow. आपको भूख नहीं लगेगी उस condition में. Peristalsis is going to be slowed down. That is going to affect the pupil of the eye. Ultimately, that is going to be dilated, so that I will be having enhanced vision. I can see my enemy or the stimulus, which is due to which adrenaline is being released. I can feel and I can see that properly. ठीक है जी. Muscles of the body, they are going to be tensed, because they have to be do the immediate action, such as running. And liver, lip, and how these effects are going to be produced. And the main important is they are having the target organ on the liver, where they are going to convert, adrenaline is going to convert the glycogen to the glucose, so that the glucose in the blood is going to be released, that is available for the respiration, for the provision of the energy. As well, that is going to do the fats, they are going to be converted into the fatty acid, which will be oxidized, and they again will be providing you people the energy. So you can people have a screenshot of the slide. These are the target organs and the effect produced by the adrenaline on that particular target organ, and what is the importance of that effect. ठीक है जी, इस इफेक्ट का क्या एडवांटेज है हमारी बॉडी को. So you have to write 3 to 4 out of these into the paper, so you can learn these. Now coming towards the other important endocrine gland, that is the pancreas, that is located over here near the duodenum, just beneath the stomach. that is having endo and exo functions both. I told you people, as an exocrine gland that is producing the pancreatic juice, and that is draining its secretion through the pancreatic duct into the duodenum, that is U-shaped part. And as an endocrine gland, the pancreatic islet of Langerhans, they are producing the insulin and the glucagon, which do both of these, insulin and glucagon, are responsible for controlling the blood glucose levels. So let's have the look on the effects of insulin. Insulin is responsible for decreasing the blood glucose level. And how that is going to do, what is the mechanism of action of insulin? Basically, that is going to increase the rate of uptake of glucose by the cells. And how that is being done, the cell permeability for the glucose is being increased. It will be stimulating the liver and the muscle cell to convert the glucose into the glycogen. So muscles and liver, they are responsible for having the stores of the glycogen where the extra glucose is being converted into the glycogen in the presence of insulin. And that is going to once that is inside the cell. So what will be happening? The oxidation of glucose will be increased, and that process is known as the respiration, and more energy will be produced. So what will happen if the insulin is being produced in more quantities, and what will happen if their secretion is less below the required level? So just have a look. Over secretion definitely will be lowering the glucose level abnormally. Hypoglycemia, that is a term used for that condition. And what are the symptoms? Person will be feeling hunger, rapid heartbeat, and irritability. If the stomach is having the requirement of the food, so irritability is the ultimate sign of it. Low blood glucose concentrations, they can also lead towards the shock. And if the glucose is not being supplied, definitely the person can go into the coma, or even death can occur. So low levels of glucose due to high secretion of over secretion of insulin are very much dangerous for a person. अगर इंसुलिन ज्यादा secrete हो गई है, that is not a good thing. Person can go into the coma because that is not having enough glucose. And definitely glucose is required for aerobic respiration, for provision of energy. So that person will go in coma and death can occur. And what are the effects of insulin if they are, you people are having less amount than required? Blood glucose level will be high, and relate this increased blood glucose concentration towards the you can say movement of substances chapter related with that the hypertonic conditions are being maintained. So cells के अंदर से पानी बाहर आना शुरू हो जाएगा, crenation हो जाएगी, ultimately enzyme will not be able to work properly. And that's why the condition is कि हमारे पास the blood extra glucose is not going to be stored into the form of glycogen, that will passing into the urine, and that condition is known as the diabetes mellitus. So definitely the person will be having no reserves of glycogen, and that will be responsible for losing the weight. What will happen? Definitely the glucose is not being stored as glycogen, that is being passing in the urine. So body is requiring the energy. So fats of the body, they are going to be oxidized, and partial breakdown will be happening, and the poisonous substances such as ketone will be formed, and they are also excreted into the urine, and this is known as the ketonuria. So what the diabetes is, and what are the particular signs of the diabetes? Diabetes is related with the high blood glucose concentrations because of lack of insulin secreted by the pancreas, and persistent glucose level in the blood is increased, which is responsible for less reabsorption, and ultimately that is excreted in the urine. So that is the condition which is oftenly asked in the examination, that what is the sign of diabetes? When the glucose start excreting in urine persistently, continuously, that is a sign of diabetes. Okay. So you can have look, whenever the person is having glucose in the urine, ultimately the other sign which is being observed, that is low healing of the wounds, and wounds, they are very much difficult to be heal out. There are two types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is usually known as the juvenile or early onset, that is before the age of 30, and late is late onset in the elderly people. Definitely, what is the reason behind that? In this type 1 diabetes, the person is having insufficient or no insulin produced by the liver cells. Sorry, liver ni pancreas cells. So sorry, insulin is not produced by the pancreatic cell, or there is limited amount of insulin produced. So ultimately person is having lack of insulin in the body. So what is the treatment? Person should be provided with the insulin injection. ठीक है जी, इंसुलिन इंजेक्शन देंगे तो डायबिटीज कैन बी कंट्रोल्ड बिकॉज द पर्सन इज हैविंग लैक ऑफ इंसुलिन इन द बॉडी. While as compared to the type 2 diabetes mellitus, insulin is produced by the pancreatic cell. Insulin is there, but the target cell, they have been changed. So definitely insulin is unable to bind its target site, and that will not be able to produce its responses. So what is the treatment? Treatment is the oral medication. Oral tablet, that is the metformin or the glucophage, that is being taken. And in both condition, with the diet control and the exercise, you have to write these two condition in both types. Now coming towards the effects of the glucagon. Glucagon is produced by the islet of Langerhans of the pancreas. That increases the blood glucose concentration, and the target of that particular glucagon is liver, because liver is storing the glycogen. So how that is going to how that is going to increase the glucose level? By converting glycogen into the glucose, and by converting the fats and the amino acid into the glucose, and lactic acid into the glucose. So whenever there is the low blood glucose concentration, that will lead toward the signals toward the islet of Langerhans of pancreas, where the glucagon is going to be secreted, and that is going to increase the blood glucose level by these mechanisms: glycogen to glucose, fats amino acid into glucose, and lactic acid into the glucose. And then ultimately blood glucose level will be restored towards the normal level, or that is going to be increased. Okay, so here you people can see the negative feedback mechanism related to the insulin and the glucagon. You people have taken the meal, glucose level will be increased. Ultimately, insulin is going to be reduced, which will be lowering the level. When the level is lower, glucagon is going to be released, which is going to convert the glycogen into the glucose, and so on. And the condition will be maintained towards the set point. Now coming toward the gonadal hormones, gonads, they are the ovaries and the testes located and labeled in the diagram. Ovaries are going to produce the estrogen and the progesterone, and these are development related with the development of female secondary characteristics. Okay. And the progesterone is related with the maintenance of the pregnancy. I will be telling you people in the next upcoming slides. Testes are present in the male, which are responsible for the testosterone, which is responsible for the secondary male characteristics. Okay, next are these are the stages in the menstrual cycle in the female, that the pituitary gland is going to secrete the FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, which will be acting on the ovaries, and that will be responsible for the development of ovarian follicles. When the follicles are going to be developed, they are going to release the estrogen, and high amount of estrogen that is going to do the three functions. Number one is that is going to stimulate the pituitary gland to secrete LH, luteinizing hormone. Fine, that is going to inhibit FSH production, and estrogen is responsible to repair the uterine lining. So remember this thing, or the function of estrogen and progesterone related to the uterus. Estrogen is responsible for repairing the uterine lining. And then what will happen, that whenever luteinizing hormone is being released by the pituitary, that is having two actions, that will be causing ovulation from the follicles and formation of the corpus luteum. Whenever the follicle is being developed, and that is going to release the egg, after the egg release, the follicle become the corpus luteum. Then the corpus luteum is going to secrete the progesterone as well as the estrogen, but the progesterone is going to do these three functions, that is going to maintain the uterus lining and preparing it for the embryo implantation. It will be inhibiting the ovulation. By inhibiting the LH, that is going to inhibit the LH, and FSH is also being inhibited. So you can have a screenshot of it. I will be discussing this particular area in the reproductive system as well. That is the thing which I want to show you people, that this is the uterus lining where the implantation is going to be done. And these are the ovaries which are going to release the ovum into the fallopian tube. Okay. Here is again the descriptive diagram. You can see it. Now, these are the hormones which are present in our body, the glands and the hormones in the body and in your syllabus as well. Okay, just have a look. Pituitary gland is related with the ADH, that is important. Adrenaline from the adrenal gland, insulin and glucagon from the pancreas, estrogen, progesterone from the ovaries, and testosterone from the testes. Okay, G. Now coming to words, how these are being controlled, what is the nervous control and what is the endocrine control. Just see that in the nervous system, nerve impulses are involved, while in endocrine, the chemical substance hormone is involved. In the nervous system, electrical and chemical transmission, chemical is through the neurotransmitter, while in the endocrine, that is only the hormone, which are the chemicals. And that is transmitted through the neurons, while the endocrine hormones are transferred or transmitted through the blood. They are transported through the blood. The neural responses are usually the quick, while the endocrine responses are slow, because blood has to be reached toward the target organ, and that then afterward that is going to produce the response. Usually the response by the nervous control is short-lived and short-term effect, while the endocrine responses, they are in case of adrenaline, they are short-lived, while in case of growth hormone, in case of the estrogen, progesterone, in case of the TSH, they are long-term effects. Neural control, that nervous control can be the voluntary and involuntary. आपके पास जबकि endocrine hormonal release is always involuntary, that is not in your control. Nervous control is localized, while the endocrine control is the widespread, because blood is transporting the hormone and there are a large number of target organ in the body. Hormones not only involved in the growth and development and in regulating the metabolism in the animals, but they are also involved in the agriculture industry as well. Like gibberellin, auxin, that is in your syllabus, cytokinins and ethylene, they are involved over there. They are used in the industry, agriculture industry. Like gibberellin, they are involved in the germination, seed germination become quick because of using this hormone. Auxins, and they are involved in the growth and maturity, flowering and fruit development. And ethylene is also involved in the fruit development. Usually that is bananas are treated with the ethylene so that they are going to be ripen quickly and soon. So there are many hormones which are also involved to break down the seed dormancy so that it can germinate so quickly. That's all from my side. Hope that video is informative and helpful for you people to prepare your syllabus points. So please, if you think that this is very much informative, you can give a thumb up to me. Please press the bell icon so that you can get notification of my new videos. Timely notification will be sent to you, and please do comment, do share, do subscribe my channel as well. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Allah Hafiz.